What's going on, everyone? Real quick before we get started, if you guys could hit that sub button or the follow button on whatever platform you're listening to, it really would help out the podcast. Also, if you guys have a topic you want us to talk about or a question, make sure that you hit the link in the description and put that in the Ask Questions Here link. Thanks for listening and have a great day. How do you want to start it?
Usually every one of them starts with me like saying something random and you're like, we're rolling. I'm like, oh.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Hi. All right, so we kind of want to do like a fun episode.
Charles is feeling real bummed
Feeling
out by
so
all
depressed.
the seriousness lately.
But I think we're going to kick it off with something serious.
Is that how you want to wait and then end with? 'Cause
So-
that's where it's like, what's hard is it's like we do something really serious and then it's
I need
like,
to turn my phone on
okay,
silent real
then
quick.
let's get funny. You've burped and farted and everything else. Do you need to like sneeze?
Well, I'm drinking some root beer, so it's probably going to happen again.
Oh gosh.
Root beer makes me burp so hard.
That's what you said last night, drinking Diet Coke.
Well, pretty much anything that's got carbonation, and I'm
It'll do that.
sounding like a frog. So first off, we need to have people. We can't just scour the internet all the time for content. So if you have anything, any kind of content, a topic, a question, not even like a question, because what the frick do we know?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
like this is more of like a topic. We need a topic.
I've never even looked. Like, have you looked on like the YouTube? Has people commented anything?
They haven't said jack shit.
Nothing's
I've had some
happened.
Russian people like give me like
on the
the smoochy kiss things
nothing
and
on
the
the
and the eyes, like the things, the emojis.
nothing on the TikTok.
No, we're not
comments.
famous. Nobody.
No, I'm
nobody
not saying
comments.
famous, but I'm just saying like there could be places that people say stuff. I don't
There
know.
has not been anything.
Okay, well then.
So if you have anything, any kind of question, any kind of topic, please send it in anonymously through the link in the description or the bio. There will be a link to the link tree, and there will be a little tab that says "Ask your questions here." Put it in that.
And I promise it would probably be a lot more fun to listen to us.
Yeah, because we would be talking about you
We can only
instead of us. Because
talk about our stuff.
yeah, we're just
so
depressed. I'm
much.
sick of talking about our depressing life.
Oh gosh.
So
Well,
please.
so the thing that you showed me that you want to talk about
It's
speaking
very depressing.
of our depressing life.
And it sounds
It-
just like us.
I was just gonna say it's pretty much our story.
Yeah.
Did you write this?
Nope. I did not. When I want to hang our dirty laundry out to dry, I do it in podcast form, not on Reddit.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to Reddit. I'm just finding out about Reddit.
Yeah. It's not something I really understand that much. There's gonna be a lot of yawning in this episode.
Should we just do this later?
Oh my gosh, shut up.
No, I'm being serious. If you-
No.
Okay. Sounds good. Another late night.
No, it's not gonna be as late as last night because we're not gonna do 2 episodes.
You're right.
We're gonna do this and we're gonna move on. So let's get going.
My hair looks like crap.
So does mine. I was out gardening all day
Cripes.
and then jumped in the
I
shower.
look like a bum.
Yeah. I've got like dinner all over this shirt. This is technically I'm in my pajamas right now. Yeah. This is real. Like we keep saying, this is the real podcast.
All right. So, can you get in trouble for like reading people's stuff on Reddit? I figure if they put it out on Reddit,
Yeah, there's not like there's any kind of
like I literally just joined this group. Didn't
Yeah.
have to verify.
Isn't there something on the side that just says something about like red flags or something?
Yeah, the red flag campaign is if you or someone you know is involved in an abusive relationship or would like information on warning
okay.
signs to watch out for, check out the red.
So, okay, I
Flag
just seen
campaign.
that and I didn't know. But yeah, I think,
Much later.
So that probably means like don't post.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't post, like, it's not like they
Like-
said your affiliate and
Yeah.
marketing things and stuff like that. I think. is
All
what
right,
it's saying.
screw it. We're going for it. So, this post on Reddit says, looking for support from people who saved their marriage when they didn't know if it could be saved. Now, this is very loaded. Basically just says that their relationship has become toxic. They have insecurities, mental health issues, miscommunication, childhood trauma. It says that it's not a physically abusive relationship. It's more of there's like been no scandal like cheating,
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's just like it says can I trust you with my heart kind of issues.
As to where it's gotten to. But the other issues are it talks a lot about the fighting and like the
Lack of emotional and physical intimacy, screaming matches.
and like when they say in there like scream matches, I think we need to also say that she said or they say, I mean I don't know, say he she like the extent of it that they're like afraid that their neighbors are going to call the cops, like it's that frequent and that loud and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's not just like a little bit of arguing.
It says that they are embarrassed of how they treat each other. They're talking about kind of not getting a separation, but having a little time apart from each other.
They go on away for a weekend.
Because a separation is kind of like a legal thing, right? A separation is where
It's not legal. I don't think anybody can separate. You know how to do it legally.
I think it is a legal thing, but it doesn't have to be.
Mm.
It says they love each other. So this is kind of
They also talk about that now, like they allude that something has happened that's like taken it to another level. And also now that both of their families know the extent of things. And their family is still supportive, but their partners, their spouse's family, like, is not. And so now they're like, are we going to be able to even come back from this?
So this is basically exactly what
Yeah, that's exactly. It sounds
happened
like
to us.
one of us wrote
When I was
this.
reading this, I was like, holy crap.
It's literally almost exactly.
I don't think it says they have any kids.
No, it doesn't say that anywhere, whether they do or don't.
So in our relationship,
So read the question again. They're saying, is there hope? Or is there saving? What does it exactly say?
looking for support from people who have saved their marriage when they didn't know if it could be saved.
'Kay.
So there was a time, I think, where I don't necessarily know if I ever felt like I don't think it can be saved, because I was just like out in La La Land. But I think for you, there was definitely this train of thought.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's
Because, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that because the biggest thing was, and I think we've mentioned it probably more than once on here, is that for you, you always have said like, no matter, like, basically there's nothing that could ever happen, like, you're not gonna get a divorce. You're like, I'll just be miserable, I could hate your guts, I don't want to get a divorce. And it's always been like so confusing to me, like that doesn't make any sense. And because like there were a couple times that I legitimately in my head was like, we're going to get a divorce, it's just a matter of when. Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So we could unpack that. You didn't have that in your life.
Yeah.
When you were a kid.
And that's
so,
where you've said it.
Here's the thing. I don't believe in divorce.
Yeah.
There's, I think a lot of I think a lot of people are more forgiving than me because I'm the kind of person where once you burn me, like if you were to ever to cheat on me, I don't know how I would react, but I don't know if you could redeem yourself.
But you've in the past told me that even if I cheated
That
on
doesn't
you,
mean
you
I'm gonna
wouldn't
leave you.
Yeah, we wouldn't even still you wouldn't get a divorce.
I don't know what you would have to do to redeem yourself.
Well, I can tell you what you have said time and time again is there is nothing that I could ever do that would make you get a divorce besides if I was
If you hurt
harmful
if
to
you
their
hurt if you
children.
hurt one of our kids,
Yes.
like if you really hurt them, not talking about like spanking them, but if you really hurt one of our kids, I should not say this on a podcast, but I would hurt you.
Well, yeah, I already know that. So yeah, that's been like your only rule, which would never happen. And so I was always just like, I mean, I'd bring up circumstances to you all the time, and I'd be like, so you would just rather hate each other's guts, be totally miserable, and just stay? And you're
Well,
like, yep.
yeah, because I'd be miserable without you.
Yeah.
I would rather have good times with you and have a whole lot of misery than just be straight up miserable. So, but when you have kids, it ratchets it up a lot. If these people don't have kids and you just can't work it out, I guess I don't understand how you couldn't work it out.
Well, the very first thing has to be that both of you want to.
Exactly.
Because
that's a good place to start.
If one person doesn't want to, there's no saving it.
And I think 10 times out of 10 situations like this is pure selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
When you are looking out for your, I think I've already said this before, and this will be a common theme in when we talk about relationships, is when you don't have to look out for yourself, you can focus on your spouse.
What do you mean when you don't have to look out for yourself?
When I'm not worried about taking care of my own needs because you're taking care of my needs, I can take care of your needs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That was good clarification.
Yeah. So selfishness will kill everything.
And I think that was honestly probably the root of all of our major problems in the past.
Is selfishness?
Was selfishness.
Yeah. Duh.
And so it's hard, like in this circumstance. I mean, I keep saying she. I assume it's a woman, but I don't know. That they give a lot of detail, but also like they don't.
Well, they were talking about they don't know how to let their walls down. And that was a term that you and me used a lot when we would usually get into the walls, talk about our walls after a blow up, trying to reconcile, is I would say, and you would tell me like, you gotta let me in.
Mm-hmm. I remember at the end a feeling that I had a lot and that I would express to you is that you won't let me love you. And I still feel that to an extent today.
Is this podcast for us or is it for other people?
That's the thing. I'm like, we haven't yet to tell them how to fix it, to save your marriage. So, okay, let's think about it. Because I would say that our marriage was at a place where it was pretty like unsavable.
Someone's
What
got to
did
jump.
we do?
Someone's got to jump first, and I will say that I jumped first.
Meaning,
Meaning, I was the one that said I'm going to start changing.
yeah.
So somebody has to be like the bigger person.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can both, if you can get on the same page and be like, we're both going to try.
I think the way it needs to go is you need to have a sit down.
Okay, you saying that marks into a thought that I have been having, that we've gotten this advice from your mother many, many times. And I will not say that we ever like have been very successful at it, but if you can be successful at it, I think it's amazing advice. And we do it sometimes, but it doesn't always work out. And that's, you don't try to solve a problem in the middle of an argument. You have to have your things before you have the argument. You know what I'm talking about? You know what what your mom always talks about. So maybe you can put it in better words, make it more clear. Like, you have to discuss things when you're not heated.
When you're heated, you're just taking cheap shots.
Yeah.
The whole time. There's going to be nothing good that comes out of having a discussion when you're both heated.
Yeah. And so I feel like we haven't been good at that, like talking about it before it happens, but I feel like I over the years have gotten better at, and it doesn't always work, but like if we start getting like really into it, I just am like, we're not doing this right now. Like, I'm not talking about this anymore, and like trying to shut it down, because yeah, it will just like keep escalating. That, or if that doesn't work, that's when I just stop talking, and I'll just sit there and stare at you. But sometimes I feel like that just makes like fuels the flames a little bit more. But yeah, if you can, I'm trying to think of exactly like the things to discuss, like
You need to
boundaries.
You need to sit down when you're both not in an argument.
Yeah.
When you're both not ready to like take your pound of flesh. And you need to talk about what you want the rest of your life to look like. You need to talk about expectations for your spouse and yourself. And then you need to see if you can give each other that, or start to work to giving them what they want. And if you can't do it, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And that's when you need to start like planning your exit.
And I know another thing is also like your hard lines. I feel like that was a big turning point for us, was when I don't think you've ever actually said it, but like, so I guess I'm saying when I was like, I'm not going to put up with X, Y, and Z anymore. And if this happens, I'm doing this, you know. Again, I'm not saying that these things work all the time, and because we've had these discussions, it's never happened, because things still happen. But another good thing, if I don't know, in this situation, if like one person is kind of, so like for us, you are the aggressor. That sounds weird, but like I can have a conversation and like not get angry and not whatever. I've kind of turned into a person that when you start getting angry and you start like getting loud, like I will start countering that as well. But so I'm saying like you are the one to get hot and fiery. So if that's the case, a big thing that I've done, and I guess you can tell me if this, because I've never asked you this, if it actually helps. But like when I want to have a discussion with you and I know that it's something you don't want to talk about, which is most most things. You just hate talking about stuff. But I will usually start with what? What do I say? Let's see if you can even guess.
You say a lot of stuff.
Well, okay, as soon as I say it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Whenever I say, hey, like, are you okay to talk about something right now? Or should we, like, wait a little
that
bit?
usually means we're about to get into a fight.
But see, that's what I'm saying is that's just your tendency. You can't talk about anything without getting worked up.
I love root beer. It's the best.
And so, but I feel like that could be helpful for a lot of people to, before you even start in on a conversation. If it's going to be a conversation that you know is going to be maybe a little bit confrontational, or you're going to have to talk about some deep feelings, just gauge the other person first and be like, hey, are you in a space to have a conversation? Or do I need to wait for another time?
I think that's
That
definitely a really
sounds-
good thing to do.
It sounds kind of stupid, but it honestly is.
Let's just take us out of the equation.
I'm telling them.
I know, I'm saying that is because there's not very many people like me on the planet.
I think you'd be surprised.
I don't. I would not be surprised because it's just a hard fact. There's not very many people on the planet like me. There's not very many people that on a freaking just a regular Tuesday, nothing has gone wrong during the day, and your wife calls you up and says, "Hey, are you in a headspace where you can have a conversation with me?" And that's a trigger for me to get ready to throw down. That's not normal. There's not very many people that do that.
Yeah.
Where the baseline is nice and calm, smooth sailing, glass water, not a ripple in sight. And then how many words is that? Are you in a headspace? It's like 10, 15 words maybe. Just, it's like, okay, she's about to attack me. So take us out of the equation. Normal people are going to be fine with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good place to start for people in this predicament. What we did to save our marriage was,
I don't even know if I could pinpoint.
I can.
Okay.
I lowered my expectations.
See, and you've said that many times, and a lot of times to me that comes across as like a dig.
It's not a dig. It's a freaking, it was a survival mechanism.
So I guess it's like,
I expected
did you
less from you.
permanently lower your expectations?
I think it's extremely hard to bring them back up.
Because, like I said, it's like, it felt like a dig because I know you were like, I have no expectations. It wasn't like you lowered your expectations. You told me, you're like, I have no expectations anymore.
And you know how much better my life was after that?
But,
Because everything was a bonus.
okay, I mean, I get what you're saying, but do you get what I'm saying? That how that can feel not degrading, but like,
I feel like you're getting triggered right now.
I am. That I've told you, I really hated when you would say that, and you said it all the time. Like, it felt like a dig to me. It felt like you were saying, listen, you don't do anything for me, so I just have no expectations anymore.
Are you the one starting shit now?
I'm not starting
Are we going to have to
anything.
stop this podcast too? We
No.
might be here for 2 hours.
No, we're not. I'm just saying that
If the shoe fits, yeah. You were doing nothing for me.
okay.
When we talk about our roommate phase, you were just my roommate that I had sex with for a while. My expectations went from wife to nothing, and everything you did that was above nothing was a bonus.
So, okay. I'm trying to reel this back into. So you're saying that that's your advice.
I don't know why we're talking about us right now.
I know, that's why I'm saying I'm trying to turn it back into a thing for.
We need to talk about us on what we did, but we don't need to like dive into.
I'm okay. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, so you're telling that's your advice.
Listen, it's great now. I love you to death now.
I know that. All I'm saying is so you're saying your advice to these people is to lower your expectations.
I think it can definitely help. You don't have to like take it to the extreme like I did.
No.
If your wife's doing something that pisses you off or your husband's doing something that pisses you off, lower your expectations.
Maybe even say change your expectations. I don't know. Lower just sounds like a negative thing.
It is a negative thing. It's supposed to be a negative thing.
Another thing is you just have to, for me, when you're at a place, because we were, like we said, we were at this place where it seemed like literally every couple days we were screaming. Like, you always like tell me our fights could have been way worse and whatever. But honestly, looking back at some of them, it was bad. Like, it was bad. And so being in that position, it's so hard. And I know, like, at the end, what is it, like, the last line that they say in it? Something about, like, can this be saved or are we just royally effed or something? The very last, there's, like, one line at the bottom.
Or maybe it really is effed up and no one comes back from this.
So, yeah, like, it is totally normal to feel, when you're at this level, to feel that way. There's, like, it's, like, literally, like, how is this ever going to change? And I got to a spot, I don't know, I can't tell you how to get here, but it's almost like you just have to one day decide, be like, I can't think about that anymore.
That's
Today,
called lowering your expectations.
We just have to start over. And because for me, the type of person that I am is, it's like when we're screaming and yelling and you say something very not nice, it's burned into my brain. Like, I have many things that are just like, they'll never leave my brain. But like, you just have to, there's nothing that can erase it. These things have happened. So I guess that's like my ultimate thing, I think, is you either have to choose to let that all go and start over, or you can't do that, and it's probably not gonna, you're probably gonna get a divorce.
Well, how, if you have these things burned into your brain that I said that I'm sure I don't remember saying,
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with it?
I just, like I've said to you, like, that was old Charles. Like, that was the before. That was what and it's just like, I don't know. Like, that's what I say. I can't tell you exactly how to do it, but it's almost like what's the word? Not
Like
compartmentalized. Yeah. And I just,
so you
like,
just like put it in a box and locked it up
yeah.
and forgot where it was.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like I said, it's just like there, and then there's been things that, so we both have gotten to a place where we took the day and it's like, hey, we're starting over, and we've done things, like you've done things now that are way more loving and showing me more love and telling me how much you love me, that cancel that out. Like
They
it's
maybe
this,
put a blanket over it or something.
yeah, like I try to say, like, we went from fighting every other day, like knockdown, dragouts, ripping each other apart, to I'm just gonna try to love you more. Like, we both agreed we're just gonna try to love each other more. And it just has finally kind of stuck. And again, I don't know these people's situations. Like, and we're not going to. I'm just speaking from our situation. The other thing was that I think you quitting drinking was probably the number one thing that saved our marriage. But yeah, so if we make a list of kind of what we've said, is putting the other person before you, loving them unconditionally, you change or lower expectations, and you stop the story that has been and start a new one, and you just try all the things that we just listed above that.
What
Is what I feel.
what about forgiveness? Do you forgive me?
It's a weird. Do you forgive me?
Yeah.
But like I don't think we've never like forgiven each other.
So forgiveness,
Is more than saying sorry.
no, forgiveness is not for you.
Sorry, I did it.
So
funny.
me forgiving you is not for you. It's for me. When you say that you have forgiven somebody, like when I say that I forgive you, it's not for your sake, it's for mine.
It's like you're saying, I am wounded by this and ashamed. Can you please forgive me so I can feel
I don't
unburdened?
So you did a lot of shitty things to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I say I forgive you for that, that's me saying I'm going to take that baggage of resentment that I hold for you and I'm going to take it out of me and put it over here. So now I can love you and not think about that.
It's basically what I just said about the decompartmentalizing the things that you had said to me and chose to not hold that over you anymore.
Okay.
Right? I guess that's what
Yeah.
guess I'm saying, is that basically kind of the same thing. So yeah, then yeah, I guess we both have forgiven each other because
But I don't do it for you. I do it for me. I don't say I forgive you so that you'll feel better. I say I forgive you so that I will feel better.
okay.
I mean, I do it, when you do that, you can take it however you want as the person being forgiven. Like if you think about like a murder and the guy that did the murdering,
The murderer.
yeah, the guy that got murdered can say, I forgive you. They're not doing that for the guy that killed their family member. They're doing it so that they can move on.
Yeah. Like I said, we're saying forgiveness so you
Forgiveness
can
is
love
kind
the
of
other person.
forgiveness is kind of, I guess you could say, it's kind of selfish because you're doing it for you. I do it for me. I don't do it for you. But I think that There's people that I know that say that, oh, too much has happened. I think that that's kind of dumb.
I don't know though. See, that's where it comes down to back to the whole thing of you have this a thing of never divorce is not an option. But like I think most normal people, like if someone's saying if I was saying like too much has happened,
I would
it
say
would be
get
like
over
no,
yourself.
I would say that as in like a lot of like really major stuff. You know, cheating and abuse and things like
Okay, so here's the thing. I can literally tear that apart every way.
that's fine.
Cheating,
Well, let's not sit here and go through it. We need to sit and do that.
I guess I'm just a hopeless romantic when it comes to this stuff then.
I
Because
guess so.
you decided to get married for a reason.
But the thing too, I'm not trying to
People change.
I'm not trying to like egg on divorce or whatever, but your argument of you get married for a reason. Well, 20 years down the road, that person you married at the beginning is a completely different person. You, Charles. Just write down a timestamp right now.
You friggin' did it.
Just write the timestamp.
I didn't have to timestamp it. I just quit the recording. I'll just cut the last 15 seconds
Push
off
play.
or bleep it or something. We're playing.
I know. That's what
It's
I'm saying.
game time.
It's going?
It's going. It's been going for 20 seconds now.
Okay. You, Charles, as a person, was Chuck when I met you. You are Charles now.
No, I'm Chuck now.
You are two totally different people. You are not the same person.
But you watched it all happen.
That's not what I'm... No, you're...
You can... Hold on a minute. You cannot say... When people say that, I'm like, well, where were you the whole time? It's not like I left and came back a new person.
It's like the whole...
You watched it the whole last 10 years.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the boiling frog analogy.
You can't say that.
I can say whatever I want.
I know you can.
So, to wrap it up.
No, not to wrap it up. Honestly, get over it. Get over yourself.
Okay, but here's the other thing. And this is a point that I have brought to you many times.
I'm not saying... I can see you right now.
It's like you have a fencing mask on.
Yeah. On guard.
If our daughters were in a relationship like we were in, would you tell them just to stick it out and get over it?
I would tell them to figure it out.
This is not a dig to you. This is not anything new to you. I would never want someone I loved, my child, someone in my family, to go through the things that we did to each other.
So you have a very, very valid point. If my daughters got treated the way that I treated you, I probably would be in prison because I would be dead. My son-in-laws would be dead. But if my daughters treated my son-in-laws the way that you treated me, I would be furious.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not
I
saying either
would
way was
be
right.
livid. I would
I-
say, I raised you better than this.
You're making my point. I wasn't saying that as an attack to just what you did. I'm saying the same thing. I would never want them to react the way that I did. I'm pretty sure they used the same
Shay.
word in this email thing, is that it straight up was toxic.
I am going to say something really shitty right now.
That's fine.
I was madly in love with you when we got married. And you froze me out. You ripped my heart out of my chest and stomped on it daily. And it turned me into a cold-blooded killer. I reacted to that in the worst possible way. I reacted to that so badly. But 10 years ago, I was a different person. And I saw the world in a different way. And my only way to defend myself, not in violence, was to destroy you. So it was not unprovoked.
And I never.
That is
claimed
my
it.
only defense, is
I-
that I had been done so dirty. That is, if things, we will never know what could have happened. And these people might have experienced the same thing. But I feel like I've been in prison for a long time. And I'm just getting out.
So that's something that, like, this, what you've just said is not anything new
No.
to me. You've told me this several times. Doesn't make it not sting
So-
any less. Hold on, let me say. So the part that, like, we never unpack, and like you said, these people could have went through a similar situation, so I guess. Anyways, the whole thing that you talk about what I did, and again, I want to get the whole thing out. This is not me justifying it, but that was like the first 6 months of our marriage. Yes? Okay, how long?
Like the first 8 years
I froze you out for 8 years.
was a long time.
Wow.
It was until we moved here.
Well, we've lived here for 6 years. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that we've always talked about that it was just like that first 6 months, year of our marriage and then you basically retaliated. Is that a word? Why does that sound super weird in my brain? Retaliated? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Okay. With the next decade of like paying it back to me tenfold.
My retaliation was I'm living my life the way I want to live it. I wasn't going to give you anything that I didn't want to give you.
But I guess what I'm saying is it's like you, for what I feel like was a fairly short amount of time, which no amount of time is an okay amount of time. You were like, I'm going to show her for like the rest of our marriage. Like there's still times that I'm like, I still think he hasn't gotten over it. Because you, like, in the last year have brought it up. And it's just like... And again, it's not an excuse, but it, like, truly is like... We just talked about in the last episode, mental health in a marriage. Like, I was in the worst mental health state of my life. Well, no. After I had been, like, that was the worst. But that I had yet in my life at that point been in. Then. And it was completely unintentional. That's the other thing is it was completely unintentional what I was doing, and what you did to do it was very intentional to me. So that's the other thing I want to say to these guys.
Why do you always have to make so much sense?
Is to tell the other people is you have to talk about it.
It is a miracle that we are still married.
It is. It is a
Because
straight up.
I would dare say that I am probably in the top 10 meanest people on the planet.
I still don't know if I agree with that. I think I just said earlier. I think you would
Shay?
be surprised.
No.
I'm not saying you're not mean.
I can turn off. I can flip a switch. And turn off every source of light inside of me. And I'm not saying this to like be Mr. Billy Badass, but I was holding back.
I know. The weird thing though, this is kind of a little bit off topic, but like from you like just saying that, like I know how angry you are and how mean you can be. But even in your I don't want to say anything that's going to like you don't want on the internet. Like
No, we can say anything.
so there's been times, multiple times that you have I guess the only way I know how to say it is like you were violent, but not violent towards me. You were physical in when you were like angry, punching walls, doors, things like that, breaking things. But I've never been scared that you would ever hurt me.
It's because I love you.
I know. And that's probably why it's worked out, because it's like, it's so stupid. And people are probably like, what the frick is wrong with you people? But it's like, even through all of it, I knew that you did love me.
You did get your one shot in that one time, though. I think I put the fear into God of you that day. The fear of God into you that day.
When
you hit me.
Okay, I did not hit it.
You hit me.
I'm saying, but I know, but you have to make it like people just so you know, I didn't like attack him.
No, you punched me in the face.
No, I did not punch you. It was open-handed.
You hit me hard enough to where it stunned me.
It stunned me. It was one of those things where it was like my body just did it, and I can't even remember what it was, like what it was about. Oh, it was because it was you were saying Binley. We were watching something, and Binley was there, and you started mouthing off saying something nasty, and I got really mad, and I hit you. That's what it was.
You know, not to do it again.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I could.
I wouldn't.
I
If I can't hit you, you can't hit me.
know.
And if I hit you, it's gonna be bad.
Well, let's just not even entertain the idea. Because that would never happen.
No, it won't, because you'll never hit me again.
You act like it was like I was like, I'm gonna hit.
No, it's an extreme. That is my line. I only have one line with you. Do not hit me. Because I can put you through a wall.
Even though you punched me when we were dating.
That was an accident in a bowling alley, and you were in the wrong place at the wrong time behind me.
See, so we're even. You got me once, I got you once.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. And that was a back thing. That was a like this. And you were there.
All I remember is you hit me so hard it made the cheeseburger fly out of my hand.
Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Oh, dude. I want to crawl under this desk right now. Oh. Oh. Bottom line is, don't be selfish. Put each other first. It is a freaking... It's the hardest thing we've ever done.
And I also, if
the
it
last year and a half.
hasn't been clear in this show, is a podcast a show?
It's whatever.
It's not like we don't still fight.
Oh my hell. But
and don't, you know,
we're getting way better.
when our fights, knockout dragouts used to be once a week, now it's like once every 3-4 months. We still argue, but we don't knock down drag out.
I wouldn't say we've had a knockdown drag out in the last year and a half, really.
No. That one when I was pregnant, sitting over here, that one was pretty bad.
Yeah, you were kind of a psycho, though. There was a lot of hormones raging. And you were acting extremely irrationally.
Well, then you should have just tried to talk me off a ledge instead of screaming at me. It's very fragile.
I think this podcast is for... I think instead of doing therapy, this is probably our therapy.
Yeah, well...
But I also think that everything that's happened to us in the last 10 years gives us a lot of street cred.
Yeah. Like, I know everybody fights in
Like,
their
we've been-
marriage, but I don't think everybody fights like we have.
We've
fought.
been through literally everything.
Yeah.
There's like nothing we haven't been through. In 10 of the shortest / longest years of our lives. Stop hitting the
I'm
damn
sorry.
table, woman.
This thing is in
These
a weird spot.
cameras are not mounted. I'm sure every time you hit it,
I'm sorry. It's
giving
not
people whiplash.
done on purpose.
I freaking love you.
Me too.
And I hope it's only up from here or
And
down from here,
now-
whatever.
We have eternity.
Yay. Get to deal with each other's crazy asses for a trillion years.
Yep. How long has this been? Do I want
don't know, I
Do we
hope-
get into the other stuff, or that's all you
we're
want to
done.
do?
Yeah, it's...
You didn't want to do the funny sex stuff? Fine.
We'll save it for next time.
I'm not gonna
I
find
promise we will have a fun episode
Well,
next
if
time.
someone would leave us some funny things, we could do funny stuff.
Yeah. Reddit's not that funny. Anyway, we'll end it there.
Okay.
Till next time.
See you next
Let's
time.
go to bed.
Yes. I can't wait to go to sleep.